Senior living operators face a complex set of challenges. How do you stay ahead of the pack? Listen in to From Leads to Leases, a CCR growth podcast for expert solutions that transform problems into opportunities. And maybe someday soon you'll partner with us to generate $1.5 million and up in additional revenue per community in just 12 months. Welcome back to From Leads to Leases, the podcast where we delve into the intricacies of senior living marketing and sales, offering fresh insights and strategies from industry experts. I'm your host, Jerry Vinci, CEO of CCR Growth, here to guide you through the evolving landscape of connecting communities with the families and residents they serve. Today, we have an inspiring guest with us, Margo Falls. Margo is a seasoned entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience in senior housing and care. She's the founder and CEO of SeniorPark.io, an age tech connectivity platform that's transforming the way senior placement advisors and senior living teams communicate. So welcome to the show, Margo. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on and chatting with us. This is a pretty cool new product that I'm excited to talk about. And I haven't come across something like this before. So before we go any further, I really want our audience to be clear on exactly what SeniorPark.io can do for them, since it is a new platform that's coming out onto the market. And I wanted to be clear, make sure I understand it before I ask you to explain it. So the way I understand is that SeniorPark.io helps placement agents working with prospective residents to find communities with availability or vacancies in their community. That's obviously going to be a great fit for that prospect. Would that be an accurate way to describe that?
That is accurate. That's correct.
Okay.
And to take all the guesswork out, and yes, a tool for the placement agents and the assisted living facilities so that they can communicate and have a platform that they can work together with ease, so that they can spend the rest of their time doing what they do best, which is taking care of the seniors.
I feel like on the placement agent side of that's solving a real problem or challenge for them, because knowing the availability that out there in terms of inventory is kind of part of the challenge. There's a lot of times where placement agents they have their core communities that they'll communicate with on a regular basis, but then like through your platform, I think it opens up a kind of like a new world to them right now. Now it's not only these 10 communities that they potentially work with, but now there's all these other communities that they can look at that might have potential availability that they might be able to find a spot for the person that they're working with. I think that's great.
That's true. And then things are changing every day. Things change so quickly. Vacancies change quickly. What people are providing change quickly. Things are opening and closing. There are newer ones opening and closing. So to be able to stay on top of that big influx of change all the time is hard for the placement agencies. So that's one of the goals, is to make it easier and open up more possibilities for placement and more facility partners for them.
I asked one of the placement agents that I recently interviewed, I was like, how do you keep track of all this information? He's like, yeah, we started like a spreadsheet. And so now we know that this place has these amenities and this other one has these. And I'm like, wouldn't it be nice if there was like one place that you could go to find out all this information and help filter out certain communities for certain types of residents and things like that. So I'm definitely curious to learn more about your platform and what the features and functionality will be. But I wanted to kind of start with you because you've got such a great diverse history in the senior living industry. So if you could just share a little bit about how you got your start and what your journey's been like in senior living.
Sure. So I've always had a soft heart for the elderly. I was very close to my maternal grandparents. So I wanted to open a place that they could thrive. It was really important for me. Unfortunately, 2 months after I opened up my facility, my grandmother unexpectedly passed. So that timing, what it did was it really drove me to have a strong commitment to understanding the elderly and what makes them thrive and what keeps them safe. And I just threw myself into really understanding it. After I helped hundreds of families and had a good grasp of what the best place and what they needed to thrive, I went on the other side because I wanted to get more reach. So I went into the placement agency side, which then it went from helping hundreds of people to now I've been able to help thousands of people on their families. So that reach. And then there was the learning on that side as well. I opened a placement agency and then understanding both sides. I'm really an advocate for the assisted living facilities because I understand their pain points.
Yeah.
So that gives me kind of a unique perspective as a placement agent because when I have partners in the communities, I really do advocate for them as well. I'm not just a placement agency with my families, but I'm also advocating for the facilities and trying to do what's best for them. So it kind of gives me a whole round view, which enables me to advocate for all sides. So that helps. And then advocating for all sides is where Senior Park was born. After hearing so many families, thousands of families, and the stress and the system that is very confusing, and they have limited time.
Hmm.
After doing that thousands of times and really being an advocate for all of the people because I really wanted everyone to win, um, I thought something has to be done. There has to be a change. And I decided to make the change, and that's where Senior Park was born.
It's pretty cool that you were able to actually like scale the care that you can give to the industry just based on the model that you chose, right? Like you going from community to placement agent, and now it's expanding out even further with Senior Park. That's pretty awesome.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And it's more than just a business for me. It's really my passion. And I keep getting better as I understand more people and things continue to evolve. It just allows me to do more for them.
Coming from a marketing background, I feel like there's typical set of archetypes that we come across in terms of like the challenges that people face within the marketing industry. It's always we need more leads, we need more, more sales, we need help with our conversions. Like in terms of the senior living industry and working with families, I mean, do you typically see there's a set of archetypes that you typically deal with, or do you think it's unique on a case by case basis? I think part of me feels like that's what makes this industry so interesting is because it is so unique. Every family situation is so different from someone else, right?
Yep. Yep. My answer to that is it's unique. Every
Yeah.
case is unique. This is a personal business, right? Dealing with our seniors and our loved ones, it's personal. We only get one set of parents. We don't know what we're doing at that point, and it's personal. It's very it's not just a number when we're dealing with our parents. So every case is different. And if someone's not there to take the time to guide them, then it's horrible because someone's not taking the time. And that's why I'm an advocate for the placement agents because they can take the time to understand what's going on. And that's where I talk about qualifying leads. I talk about that all the time. People go, "What is qualifying leads? How do we qualify leads?" And it's getting personal and understanding because there's so many dynamics. And if you're really talking to the family and understanding what's going on with them, a majority of the time it starts to unfold and the story gets bigger. And if you're really doing the best thing for the family, you're going to listen to that and you're going to be able to take that information and then properly navigate them into something that works and that is good and the best thing for the senior. But if you're not taking the time to listen, then that's where the unqualified leads come in. And you're just kind of shooting in the dark if you're just taking them as a name and number, their age, and then a list of places, right?
Yeah.
So qualifying leads, it's every case is different. Every case.
Yeah.
And we're people. If you're really listening, every family's different. Every family's dynamic is different. Every senior lived their life different. I mean, they all have a different thing that makes them happy. So you have to take the time to listen to that. And that's why I'm such an advocate for the placement agents because they're local experts that actually take the time to listen and qualify, which helps the marketing directors at the larger facilities as well, because they already understand they can then work together, understanding the family, they can work together as a unit, and then everybody works together in the same for the common good.
I think that's a pretty profound statement too about, families like they really only get one shot at this and most people don't really know what they're doing ahead of time. It's not something that we think about, right? Like we never think, until our parents are at that age. And then even then, like we're not really thinking about it when we should be. We're typically more reactive than proactive. So my parents are in their mid 70s is a perfect example. It's like, but they're in good health and they still have their mobility and there's no cognitive decline. So there's no real discussions being had about downsizing or simplifying their life at this point in time. But in reality, that should be a conversation that we're having. And it's unfortunate that a lot of families wait, and then the level of care and options that are available to them get dramatically reduced, and then it becomes more of a dire situation. And then everybody's stressed. It's emotional. Like there's a lot more that goes into those decisions.
Yes, and when
So
you're emotional like that, the last thing you want to do is be thrown into a marketing or sales funnel when it's your parents, right?
yeah, and to try to do that all yourself, right? Like to try to weigh your options between every single community. It's almost the best advice at that point is to find a placement agent, somebody to help you. I mean, I know, like, just as an example, we just took a trip to Italy for the first time, right? And we were there for 3 weeks, and I had started to try to plan the trip myself, and I got overwhelmed so fast. And this was just a vacation, like I'm not talking about anybody's livelihood here or like quality of life. It was literally, where do I stay and which cities do we want to go to and what activities do we want to book ahead of time, and it was like within 2 weeks I had reached out to a travel agent. I was like, I need help, and they planned the whole thing and it was excellent, so the experience was amazing. I would think that most placement agents are able to provide that same type of experience within the senior living space.
Sure, that's a great analogy. That's
Yeah.
really great. I was going to say navigating the food in Italy probably was needed its
Yeah.
own travel guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, and I often say that the aging and the care process is a journey. It's a full journey. And where you come in at that journey, people can come in at different places. You were just speaking to a large majority that come in at the end because they didn't
Hmm.
prepare. But there are some people that come in at the middle, some people come in at the beginning. But the benefit of a placement agent is that they can help you wherever you are because they're experts. So they can say, "Hey, this is where you're at and I can help you right here." And that's the largeness of it, is where are you on your journey, because it's a huge one.
Do you feel like more people come in towards the middle to end because they're not aware of the options that are available? Because I feel like if like I think there's a lot of fears around senior living still. Like there's still the narrative about it being a nursing home, or even I think even calling it a retirement community does it a disservice, because there's a lot of people who could benefit from simplifying their life, but maybe they're not ready to retire, right? They still want to work, or maybe they want an encore career or something like that. So do you feel like there's if there was more awareness around that more people would be on board sooner?
I do. Yes. I think it's awareness, lack of education, and unfortunately, we'll go back to the statement I made earlier is there's a sales grasp on it. And so online, when they're looking to get information, you have to get your email and then you become part of a sales funnel. So I think there's a lack of awareness for sure and a lack of education.
Can you explain what seniorpark.io, how it actually works? Like what's the process from like start to finish when somebody would sign up? And I know there's two different sides to it, so maybe talk
Yeah.
about both.
Sure. So it's for placement agents and assisted living facilities. So it's B2B. It's not open to seniors, but to help the placement agencies and the assisted living facilities with time management. So they're able to communicate with one another, and the placement agents are able to see the vacancies and see what they're able to provide. The other thing that, one of the things that are hard for people that are looking for care is that care needs, again, are a full spectrum, and the list of care needs are so long, and most of them specialize in something. Not all facilities match what you're looking for because they're specializing in something specific,
Yeah.
right? Maybe they're more active, maybe they have a nurse and they can do some medical stuff. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of things. And so you'll be able to search and find one that matches the needs of your client. You'll be able to, budget's also a concern, right? Sometimes there's budget concerns. And then also being able to connect with one another, scheduling with the facilities or administrators or marketing directors right in platform. Anything that you need to do, there's a lot of different business processes that go on between placement agents and assisted living facilities, contracts, a lot of different business processes. But they'll be able to do all of it right in the platform. So it takes away time, right? It opens them up to have more partners to choose from, and it saves on time is the biggest one because
Hmm.
you oftentimes when people come, and you were talking about when people come at the end, one of the reasons why it's so stressful is because when you wait till it gets to that far, you have very little time. If you're in the hospital or a nursing home, you've got, they sometimes give you 48 hours. So having these tools at their fingertips enables them to spend time with the family and not have to worry about that other side. And it allows them to give better customer service, a better experience, take away the stress. Everybody has a peace of mind, really.
So the communities themselves, would they be keeping their information updated in the platform?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's
Okay.
their part.
So in terms of vacancies, they would keep that up to date, and pricing information and types of units available and all of that. That's all provided
That's
directly
right.
by the community.
The community
Okay.
updates that. They can, put what their strengths are, what if they want to highlight something.
Would there be a fee involved with that for the community if the community wanted to be a part of the platform?
There's no fee right now for onboarding. We're onboarding on the West Coast.
Right.
At the end of the year, we plan to launch and then onboard the rest of the states, hopefully. But there will be a fee. We haven't quite fleshed that out yet. So there'll be a fee, and then there'll be tiers because there's other features we'll be able to provide, video chat, different things like that. So there will be a fee. We just haven't fleshed that out. But right now, if you want to test it out and do a demo, we're letting the West Coast use it for free.
Okay. Oh, that's fun. That's great. What would be some of the key differentiators between seniorpark.io versus other senior housing placement platforms like a Place for Mom?
Yeah. Place for Mom and the larger platforms are really lead generators. They specialize in SEO, so they're usually the top. And it's usually when someone has a problem, that's the first one they see. It's the one that's most recognized.
Hmm.
But they just send out a list of the area without really taking into consideration all the personal details of the senior or the family.
A list
So
of communities, you mean?
they
Like
just,
here?
yeah,
Yeah.
they say, here's a list. And then they can kind of be, I know, and then they can be kind of a little salesy and they continue to kind of send them into a sales funnel and call and kind of badger, this is from, working with thousands of people over the years. This is from customers. This is customer feedback over the years. And oftentimes I get people calling and saying they used them and they didn't have good luck. So they call me and then I take the time. And so they're just so helpful that I took the time. So their model is really more of a lead generator. So they have some representatives, but I think they're
400 plus representatives, I think, for the entire country. Like that seems a little sparse to me. And how could those 400 agents know everything about every community that's a part of they have over, it's between 14 and 20,000 communities that are participating on their platform. So that's a lot.
yeah, it is a
Yeah.
lot. And so that's again the benefit of having a local expert to give you time, because again, you go through this one time. You have one set of parents. And so to have someone help and make it personal, the human component to it is very important at that point.
Have you had feedback so far from placement agents and communities using the platform?
Yes, I've had lots of feedback, great feedback. They've all said, I'm so glad you're doing this. We need this so bad. We have a case study that we're working on with a gerontologist right now. But yes, feedback has been great. All of every one of them have said, I'm so glad you're doing this. I can't wait. we need something like this.
I know we talked about the communities and there being a fee or a tiered
Tiered on
options.
features.
Yeah, tiered on features. What about for the placement agents?
There's going to be a fee for the placement agents as
Hmm.
well. There will be a subscription. It'll be a subscription based for both the placement agents and the assisted living facilities. And as we grow out, we will iterate, getting customer feedback from the agents and the assisted living facilities. Again, I'm an advocate for both of them, which is this makes this so great because I advocate for both sides and want to see them both thrive. I want them both to win. I think that the placement agents, that business is growing, and I'm glad it's growing. And I want them to be successful. I want them both to be successful and do a good job so that it inevitably does something good for the senior community.
Well, I think that's actually a great feature too, the fact that there is a fee on both sides of the equation, because I think with like a place for mom, if you look at that, the communities aren't paying anything to be a part of that platform, so they don't really get any say in terms of how they're represented on that platform. Whereas in this case, like they're paying to be a part of this network, and then the placement agents are as well. So I think the likelihood that there's going to be a lot more quality connection happening on the platform, to me, that makes sense. I think when it's
It does.
yeah.
And that's a great point, the quality connection. And that's another thing is there's going to be a rating system. And so we're going to get more of an accurate rating, which I think will make the facilities want to do better, right? So you touched on, that was perfect. It's going to aim for more quality professionals,
Mhm.
quality assisted living facilities, quality placement agents, for sure.
When you say rating system, do you mean, would that be something internal that seniorpark.io assesses each community?
Yes,
Yeah.
and there's going to be many different factors that are going to be involved, and there'll be a lot of factors, but it'll be more accurate than
Yeah.
what we have now. Not for any other reason than to have people rise to excellence and be better. It's not about downing or saying that you're not. It's about what can we do to make it better. Maybe you can do this. And by seeing it and having input, I think that we will all rise and be better advocates for seniors.
Yeah, I mean, nobody benefits from a system that doesn't hold people accountable. You know, you look at the Place for Mom model, for example, there was an article that came out on the Washington Post, and I also know that they're being investigated by the Senate Special Committee on Aging, and in both cases, it's all around the discrepancies around how they handle reputation management, as well as like the number of communities that are represented on their site. So, for example, there's only somewhere between 14 and 20,000 communities represented on their site, but there's over 50,000 senior care facilities across the United States across all levels of care. So, you know, that's less than half of the community. So if somebody's doing a search for a certain type of community and they fall onto a Place for Mom's website, they're not actually seeing all of the options that are available to them. So that's problem number one. Problem number two being, if they look at the reviews on their site, or even some of the communities that get like the best in senior living awards, have been some that have been cited for some of the, you know, most heinous like citations. That there was one community on there that had a, I think in 2023 got a best in senior living award, and in 2022 had actually had one of their residents pass away due to negligence. They left somebody like outside in the heat, and they died of like a heat related condition, and that never got reported on the platform. So I think having an independent assessment and having that being visible on the platform, I think that's super important, because it's the only way people are going to change is if they're actually being held accountable.
I agree. I agree. And that rating system is very important. And the way we put it together, it's going to be, like I said, different factors. Their licensing and what's going on with them, and if they're being reprimanded or if they've done something heinous and or um, just need things that are fixed. We're going to take all of that into account. The goal is to
Yeah.
have a rating system that is much more accurate to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah, because those state inspection reports, I know in at least, I think like 24 states, they're publicly available. So I think from a placement agent perspective, if I know that there's a platform that's looking at like those reports and has those reports available so that I can make sure that I'm, only working with communities that have a clean bill of health, so to
Yes.
speak, like that would be really beneficial. Yeah. That
Yes.
would be the worst feeling in the world to put somebody into a community that wasn't living up to its supposed reputation, right?
Yes,
So,
that's correct. So,
yeah.
and you were speaking about quality. It's
Hmm.
about doing something of quality and having a place where people can feel like they can get the right place. Yeah.
Being in an age tech business, I mean, how do you see technology transforming senior housing in the next few years?
I see it happening quickly for many of reasons. One, the pandemic, I think, opened up our eyes, opened up everybody's eyes. That's kind of where I let the fire got lit, is now people are going to understand we had to go to technology, just simply to maintain. And now people are seeing that we have to go to technology. It's going in that direction. It's going to help. It's going to make things easier and better. And so I think the wave is here, and it's just going to get better, bigger. And I think it's all really about teaching and awareness and trust, right? That's the other thing is when you talk about your parents or loved ones that are older, there's the trust factor, and who do you trust? And that's also a big thing. Trusting who you're dealing with and who's helping you is really important.
Yeah. I think just the tech literacy too with like the baby boomer generation is so much higher. If you look back to like 2014, I think there was something like 45% or 50% of older adults had a smartphone, and now it's 80 over 85%, something like that. So I
Good
think
point.
just yeah, I think just in general there's just this different mindset around technology. They're way more tech savvy. Even TikTok. I mean, the over 10% of TikTok's user base is 65 and up. So like you would never expect that when you talk
That,
about TikTok, but it's kind of crazy.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just that's a good point. There's a lot more people that are adapting it and people using it that are older, and so yeah, it's definitely going to be bigger.
In terms of personalized care, I mean, how do you see technology playing a role in that, and why do you think that's so crucial for senior housing placement? I just mean in terms of like for placement agents, like the role that they play in helping to make sure that a prospective resident finds the right community that's perfect for them, that the placement agent specifically understands their needs and the level of care and all of those types of things.
I think the accountability part of it that you spoke of, I think, is really big. I mean, one of the challenges for placement agents is that some of them get a bad rap because of the place for moms out there, right?
Yeah.
And so the accountability piece, when you have technology, it lends itself to have a place where people can be accountable and have a more accurate assessment. So that's kind of where I see it, being more accountable, holding us more accountable.
And then how does seniorpark.io ensure the placements made through its platform meet those specific needs of older adults and their families?
We're going to provide the platform for them and the information that they need, like we talked
Mm,
about, what's happening on the licenses, the rating systems, the collaboration between the two of them, and the information being transparent. Transparency is also a big key to it, is being transparent with what you're providing and being open. So an open forum.
I think there's a lot of people kind of getting into the tech space when it comes to senior living, and it tends to be we're not early adopters in this industry. Like everything, it's been around for probably 5 years already in other industries, and now we're just starting to come around to using it. I mean, what would be your advice to other people in the tech space within senior living that are kind of looking to integrate more uh, forward thinking when it comes to tech, whether it be a senior living community or maybe a product like something you're trying to roll out?
Sure, sure. First, decide what your passion is. Think about whatever it is that drives you, right? I think a lot of people too, that's why a lot of people things have opened and closed, and you see a lot of this stuff online where people are just trying to just find something to get into that market.
Yeah.
and they inevitably don't last because they're not really committed to the cause. So if you're truly committed to the cause of making things better for seniors and you really care about that industry and those that age group, then pick up the staff and get in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a, pick up the staff and get in there. It's really a labor of love. If you're really doing this with integrity, then you care about the entire trajectory. I care about the healthcare piece of it, right? I still educate them on the insurance part of it. So while I do placement and I specialize in these two, I still am involved in all of the other parts, the hospice, the healthcare, the home health, the physical therapy. It's not just one part because, we're dealing with seniors and humanity. So I think that if you really do care about it, then pick up a staff and get in there and get busy because there's a lot that needs to be done. A lot. There's a lot of seniors that need help and a lot that needs to be done in that space. And so if you really do care about it, I encourage you to get going, get in there.
You've kind of run the gamut in terms of this industry. So senior care, senior housing, senior placement. I mean, now with this with seniorpark.io, I mean it's more of a tech-based platform and you're more of a bridge, right? You're a connector between the communities and the placement agents. So how do you keep the human element in there? Like what's how to because I feel like that's the biggest piece of that we don't want to lose with technologies. We want to make sure that there's still the human factor. We're still dealing with, finding a place for mom or dad at the end of the day and we still have to be involved in that process to make them feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's a great point. One of the things that I've been saying is I still have and run the placement agency, A Love for Seniors LLC. And while we are building out Senior Park, I still have my ears to the ground. I'm still doing the work. And
Yeah.
that's been a catalyst for me because I'm still listening to everybody. And so I'm listening to the placement agents, right? They're going to have their ears to the ground. They know what's going on in the communities, in the respective communities. And by listening to them, that is how we continue to keep the integrity because the placement agencies that are doing a great work and that they really care, their feedback is invaluable.
So outside of initial launch of seniorpark.io, I mean, are there any other exciting developments or features in the pipeline that we want to tell our audience about?
We have a lot of features in the pipeline, but you're going to have to stay tuned to listen to
Yeah.
find out what they are. Just
I'm
follow us.
excited.
Follow the
Yeah.
ride. Follow the journey.
Yeah.
You won't be disappointed.
No, I'm very excited to see how this rolls out and to just have more tools like this in somebody's tool belt, placement agents and communities. I think they both need help in this space. And I'm always an advocate for communities developing their own direct marketing strategies and internal marketing teams and ways to generate leads, but they also need help finding, prospects that are a great fit for their community. And it's not always the traditional, let me go search on Google and I'm searching for a loved one or I'm a senior looking for a place to live. Like it's not always as simple as just getting on Google and finding a place nowadays. There's so many options out there. I mean, there's thousands of communities. I mean, I live in California, as you know, there's so many communities here and even other states like Arizona or Florida. There's a ton of options for an older adult to weigh. And so how do they pick and choose and decide? I mean, without creating like a spreadsheet and having all the and
Right.
comparing and contrasting and it's a
Right.
very difficult process.
It
So
is. And the local, again, I'll drive it back to local experts. There's
yeah,
so many things that change. Management, right? The management, and that's just one of the many things that could change at the drop of a hat. And a change of management in assisted living can make things change. In just an instance, how do you know that, right? So being able to have a forum where they can connect and we can assess and understand what's going on in the communities is really important. So it just helps them help their families.
is there a way, maybe not in this iteration of the platform, but given all the experience that you have and bring to the table, is there a way for communities and for placement agents to consult with you on maybe through the platform?
I am always open if someone wanted. You can get a hold of me at info@seniorpark.io. And if you're a placement agent or assisted living facility and you want to talk about Senior Park and how we can work together, I would love to hear from you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure we include all of that in the show notes, and any updates that happen between the recording of this and the launch of this platform. We're definitely going to let everybody know because we're super excited about it, and to help you promote this out.
If you want to follow the journey and stay up to date on what's going on, you can sign up for our newsletter or sign up for the waiting list at seniorpark.io.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll include all of that in our show notes. And
Yep.
so as we wrap up today's episode, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Margo Falls for joining us and for sharing her valuable insights into the innovative work being done at seniorpark.io. It's inspiring to see how technology can enhance the quality and efficiency of senior housing placements, ultimately providing better outcomes for older adults and their families. So if you want to stay connected with Margo and learn more about seniorpark.io, be sure to visit their website and follow their journey on Instagram at Senior Care Guru. Oh, and also make sure you sign up for their newsletter on their website. That's super important. So as always, we hope you found this episode insightful and inspiring. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, and stay tuned for more episodes where we continue to explore the dynamic world of senior living marketing and sales. Also, this is a reminder that From Leads to Leases isn't just an audio experience. We're also a video podcast. So if you want to see the video versions of our episodes, like the one here with Margo, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube or Spotify channels. And I'm Jerry Vinci, CEO of CCR Growth, thanking you for joining us on From Leads to Leases, where we're giving you all of these great senior living industry insights for free and asking nothing in return other than for you to like, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone who might find it useful. I'm truly grateful for your time and attention. Until next time, lead with strategy and with heart. Chat with you again soon. Thanks for joining us, Margo.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in. Explore more at ccrgrowth.com. At CCR Growth, we've developed the Senior Growth Innovation Suite to unlock an additional $1.5 million and up in revenue per senior living community within a year. We specialize in generating quality leads, expediting sales, and reducing acquisition costs. Let's connect soon.